picking up where we left off, I'm going to paint this using what's called the Leopard Spotting technique. And what that involves is using 2 accent colors and then 1 main color. So in this case I have kind of an earthy yellow, red, and brown. And it's called Leopard Spotting because you kind of just put spots of the accent colors all over. And then you come back with your main color and blend it all together. I think this red was a little bit strong, but I still think it looked okay in the end. I tried to tone it down with the base main color, which was the brown, where I could. So you can see here I'm going over the entire piece now with the brown and trying to blend together all the different colors. You really want your paint to be watered down so that it goes into all the different crevices and it makes it so you get variations in your color tone, which helps to give it a more natural look. And after you've done your accent colors and your base color, you come back in with a watered down black and go over the entire piece, and that is really where you're going to get all of your detail popping out. So the black just seeps down into all the different all the different little crevices, and really makes the details of the rocks pop out. Right now it looks a bit muddy overall, but once it dries, this black will lighten up and the whole piece should look very unified. You'll get a nice variation in the different colors, as you can see here. Alright, so the next thing I wanted to do was add some highlights to some of the high points. So I'm taking a brown here, a light brown, and just picking out some spots where I think it should be a little bit lighter. This brown was a little too dark, so I did go back in with some white and to brighten it up. And I also came in later on with just straight white and dry brushed that onto some of the hive spots, just to give a little more variation in color. So at this point it's already looking pretty good, and you could stop here if you didn't want to do any more detailing, but I'm trying to make this look kind of like those earthy mountains in Dragon Ball Z, so I want to add some more rocks and some grass to make it look a little bit more like those shots from Dragon Ball Z. So what I'm doing is I'm just using some watered down Mod Podge and putting this where I think some loose dirt would be, trying to avoid getting it where Trunks' feet would be. And I'm using, this is some sand that I got from the beach many years ago. I got way more than I needed. It's lasted me for a long time, and I'm just dropping that onto my glue and letting it set up. And all this is doing is adding some detail to the top of the Mountain View fixture. Realistically, at this scale, you should probably have a finer grain than sand, but I think it will work just fine in this case. And so now I'm adding some tiny little rocks. I got these in a little Woodland Scenics diorama kit a long while back. Again, I'm just adding more texture to the overall piece. Once I have them where I want, I'm going to take some really watered down Mod Podge and just drip it over all of the rocks and all of the sand to set it in place. And this Mod Podge dries clear, so it's not going to mess up my paint job in any way. So now the sand and the rocks don't really match my paint job, so what I'm trying to do is just make everything match each other. So I'm using a similar tone paint as I did before and putting this over all of the white rocks and the sand, and what that's going to do is make all the different components kind of come together into one piece. So again, you could stop here if you wanted, but like I said, I want to try out my new static grass applicator. Got this a while back and I've never used it. So again, I'm going to use watered down Mod Podge and I'm going to apply this static grass. So I pretty much want to cover almost all of the sandy areas with static grass. And what I'm doing is I'm starting with a neutral green color first, and then what I'll do after that is I'll come in with a darker green in the middle, and I believe it's called dead grass. I'll put in a few different spots just to add some color variation. Lost footage, sorry. This is the first time I'm using this static grass applicator, so I'm not entirely sure I'm doing it correctly, but I think the result kind of speaks for itself. It's really easy to use and the result looks really good. And I believe this grass is actually a little bit small for the scale of figure that Trunks figure is, but I think it looks just fine. So next up here, need to make that wooden base look a little bit nicer. It's got all of the various colors from my paint job before. And I'm just taking straight brown color, watered down, and going around the base and just cleaning that up. I think I put 3 or 4 coats on here. And this figure is going to be sitting on a glass shelf. So I've taken some EVA foam here, and I'm going to glue that to the bottom of the wooden base. just to add some protection to the glass. And that's pretty much it. Just gotta take off Chunk's little booties, and there we go.